What's up, everybody? Welcome back. I'm Abe. This is EVE Online, and we're talking about mining efficiency and increasing the efficiency and the use of your time and trying to maximize the amount of money that you're able to make in a given period of time. So, in as far as just you need to, you're limited by your cargo space, basically. Your ore hold is only so big, and once it's full, you need to unload it somehow, right? So if you're mining by yourself, as many of us do, you have two basic options. And depending on where you are, some of these make more sense than others. So one option is you're full of you fill up your ore hold, and you dock up, you unload, you come back, you mine, you dock up, you unload. And one option to further expedite that process is if you're going to a player-owned station or like an upwell structure, you don't necessarily need to dock in order to unload your ore into the station. They're one of the many items down here. One of the icons that you have will be to open up a sort of a delivery bay or your inventory from outside the station. So you can warp to zero, drop your cargo in, your ore, into the station or into your inventory in the station, and then warp back out and continue mining and do that a bunch of times, and then go back into the station and compress it or do whatever it is that you were planning on doing with it. So that's option one. Option two is as you're out here mining, I'm in my Venture George, and I'm circling this dense Veldspar. It was 27 kilometers away from me when I warped in, and I'll talk about that in a second, as that's another way to sort of increase the efficiency of your loot. Another way is to, once your ore hold is full or about to be full, and I would recommend doing it before it's totally full, is you right click on it and jettison. And by jettisoning it, it will eject your ore into a cargo container that then sits in space. Now you need to be careful. So you can mine, jettison, and you can do this a number of times, arguably until you're blue in the face. If you have an alternate character, the best way to do this is to mine and jettison so that you're constantly running those lasers, right? So I look at these lasers, and for each of them, I'm getting 100 cubic meters, give or take, per minute. So the longer those are running constantly, the more ore I'm pulling in, right? It doesn't matter if these are great and Tech 2 or whether they're only Tech 1 or civilian, right? The longer that they are actually active, the more ore you're pulling in. And so you just keep that thing mining, and you jettison your ore, and then you send your alternate character or your friend out to pick it up with a hauling ship of some kind, an industrial ship. I would recommend, let's open up the ship tree, go into the Galente class. I think it's Galente. Not the Nereus, it is the Miasmos. They have a ship ore hold that they can hold stuff in, and there's also, which one of these has, I think the Caldari, maybe? No, one of these has a fleet hangar. I'm forgetting which. That's not this one. I think I would know. That's an ammo bay. This one's got that. Yeah, that's weird. Anyway, it doesn't matter. If you look at the Miasmos, it's got an ore hold capacity, and you can hold up to like 40 or 60,000 cubic meters of ore. But regardless, grab one of these Tech 1 haulers. Have your friend bookmark your containers, or just fly out to you, as all the containers will be probably within 5 to 10,000 meters of the ore that you're mining, and they'll just come out, pick it up, take it back to the station, come out, pick it up, take it back to the station. And so if you're mining alone, this doesn't really apply to you unless you have a second character that you can bring in to do this sort of pickup work, and it's not a bad idea, right? So the only thing you then have to worry about is making sure that you're not being attacked on one character when you're switching over to the other. So if you're running as an alpha account, you'll only be able to run one account at a time. So you need to keep that in mind. And even if that may still mean that jettisoning is the best way to do it for you, right? So if you jettison, You just need to bookmark your cargo container and make sure you come back within 2 hours. Otherwise, the cargo container will despawn, and along with it, everything that was in there with it. The other downside to this is if somebody comes in and decides to loot your cargo containers, there's not much that you're going to be able to do to stop them. They'll become suspect to you, which means you can attack them if you want, but you're in a mining ship with mining lasers. You're not going to do anything to them. And if you try with your drones, likely what they're trying to do is get you to attack them. Because once you attack them, they can attack you. So you may aggress on them, you may send your drones after them, and if you do, they'll go dock up whatever ship they were in, which looked weak. They'll come back in a PvP ship, and they'll kill you and take not just your ore now, but also what's left of your ship. So don't be lured in by that sort of thing. But if you're in high sec, that's maybe doable. If you're in low or null sec and you feel safe because you've got an Intel network and you don't think people are going to be prowling around looking for your cargo containers, then maybe that's the way to do it. So those are the two ways to really kind of increase the efficiency, is to keep yourself out here as much as possible. Spend a full hour mining and just jet can everything. And that's what's known as jet can mining. Is you just jettison your cargo into a canister or a can and then come and collect it later in a large ship. I've got a Nereus sitting back at Clelanon here that they gave me for doing these missions. I've named it Kramer, I think, just to stay with, where is it? Here we go. Kramer, and then 5,000 cubic meters at a time, I'll come and pull it out, or however much that can carry. And I'll just take a few cargo trips and just pick things up. And it makes it much easier because none of these ships are going to be very fast if you just bookmark the locations of your cans. Okay? So a third option or way of increasing the efficiency of your use of time and space is to bookmark the location of specific asteroids. So, like I said originally, this asteroid was 27 kilometers away when I warped to the asteroid belt. So, if I'm done mining here, if I've filled up my cargo hold, and I want to come back and mine this asteroid some more, if I save a location just by right-clicking on it, I can say dense Feldspar 1, right? And then I can also look in here while my guy you got nothing else to do right now. There's another dense Feldspar asteroid, and I can save that one, and I can call that dense Feldspar 2. So now, in my people and places, which is this icon over here on the left, or Alt-E, I've got a number of different ores that once I undock, I can warp straight to them and I don't have to move around. So if you're in a venture, you can move very quickly, right? Right now I'm traveling at 390. I have an afterburner that'll take me up to 600 plus. I could fit other modules on there that would make me even faster. But the bigger the ship, the more mining you're going to be doing in it, and probably you're going to leave the venture behind after a little while. They move slower and slower, and you're not going to fit them with a prop mod or a propulsion mod, which is what an afterburner or a micro warp drive is generally referred to as. So you will be running like a bunch of shield hardeners and other tanky items like that, and you're not going to want to give something up just for a prop mod. So saving the location, like if you're in null and you're in this huge anomaly or an enormous anomaly or whatever size anomaly you're in, and there's a bunch of really great ore in there, you may save the location, or what I've found myself doing, I'll save the location of 1 or 2 different asteroids that have spodumane in them, 1 or 2 Bistot, 1 or 2 Nice, and if you're able to mine Mercoxit, maybe you'll bookmark those. And then when I undock, I just warp straight to them instead of showing up and then having to slow boat across the entire anomaly just to get to the ore that I'm looking for. So that's a quick way to save yourself some time. So if you're in a very slow ship, align as you're coming to the end of your last cycle, because you're watching your ore hold and you know that you're going to fill up here soon. Align out, make sure you don't go outside the range of your mining lasers, but you can align to the station that you're going to go drop off at so that you immediately enter warp once you're done. Pull your drones back in and warp on off, and then as you're dumping, align yourself to the asteroid that you're going to warp back to, and you can just go out and back pretty quickly and easily. So these all apply for mining ice, mining moon goo or moon ores or anything like that, for asteroid belts, anomalies. It's all the same, right? If you bookmark an area, you're going to be able to get back to it faster. If you jettison your what you've been mining or harvesting, you can come back and grab that later with something that has a larger hold, and that you can just pick it all up in one and try to maximize the use of laser on ice or moon or asteroid time. And that's really what's going to help you do it. Now, the people who are making a ton of money on mining are likely using multiple characters. So they'll make a bunch of money, whether it's through mining, industry, or however they choose to do so. And then they'll start a second character. And that character, they'll have them out here mining at the exact same time, right? So if pirates show up, they've now got two ships that are able to, destroy or attack that pirate. If you've got two ships out here mining the same stuff, you're making twice as much per hour, right? So if this cargo hold, it's almost half full, I'll have another 700K, let's say, in ore. Well, if I have two ships doing it, that's 1.4 million per load of ammo, or per load of ore. And per hour, it may be, 2 or 3 times that. So let's say you're making, I think I've seen estimates that in an orca by yourself in high sec, you can make about 18 million ISK per hour mining moon goo and such, right? So if you only have one orca and one character, that's 18 million. If you have 2, it's 36, 4, it's 72, and it adds up pretty quickly from there. So if you can get 12 to 16 characters all mining at the same time, you can have one of them providing boosts. You can have, like all kinds of things. And it's just multiplicative because it's a very, I don't know what the word is for it, but it's just the more people you have doing it, the more you're going to make on it. I mean, the more you're going to have invested in it, the more money of your own that you're going to have to invest, the more money in game you're going to have to invest. But if you do it really well and you end up getting yourself squared away, looks like that asteroid is all out. So we'll just get started on that one. If you have a bunch of characters and really expensive mining ships, all mining expensive stuff, regardless of what it is, you can be making hundreds of millions of ISK per hour, and mining can be very lucrative. But it takes a very particular kind of person to run 16 clients on their computer at the same time, mining with all of them. And you'll find in the areas on the forums where they, legally are selling characters, that people will sell batches of trained characters for mining, so that you can buy 12 or 16 accounts at a time. And yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's pretty mind-boggling. So one way or the other, there are ways to make it more efficient. You can either jet can mine, you can bookmark your asteroids and the things you want to do, and you can just go back and unload and warp back as quickly as you can. If you have friends or alts, it reduces the amount of time you have to spend sort of traveling around doing that sort of thing. But yeah, so those are some things to keep in mind. Give it a try. Let me know if you have any problems or questions. Hit me up in the comments, and we'll go from there. So thanks for watching, and I will catch you in the next video.